contract under fire. Elizabeth Rawlins continues her investigation into why your tax dollars are not paying for fire protection in the unincorporated portion of Chatham County. And the city of Savannah taking on a restoration project next to the Savannah Police Department's new Central Precinct. The city's plan to turn this historic building into a home for newly enlisted police officers. Plus, the Savannah College of Art and Design wants to build a big dorm facility on a popular block. But what about the homes and businesses that are already there? Meredith Parker has some answers.
We've had some storms blow through the coastal empire and low country. For the greater Savannah-Chatham area and the low country, dry now, sunshine and steamy, but we are tracking showers to the south that will eventually track to the north through I-95 corridor, Richmond Hill, and may even make it to Savannah. So the lightning is starting to fire up really nicely right here along 57, heading toward Midway and Hinesville. Back to the north, this cluster of showers is falling apart, however, moving at a good clip and will cross I-16, Pulaski, the 46 area, and Register. It may not make it to Statesboro, but heads up Statesboro. You may get some gusty winds as this falls apart and blows through the city. We are looking at this complex back to the west in Baxley with lots of lightning. So Reedsville had this storm, and this is heading straight towards Reedsville and the 280 corridor as well. I'll track more of that for you in your first alert forecast. But first, a sneak peek of the weekend. A 50-50 chance of showers and storms, not a complete washout, but a stalled out front leaves us muggy and hot on Saturday, and then we start to see those middle 80s by Sunday, and a real treat for the next work week. I'll have your first alert forecast detailing that in minutes.
Well, we are now hearing from state and local officials who are also calling for answers after a WTOC investigation revealed that your tax dollars are not going towards fire protection in the unincorporated portion of Chatham County.
And there's currently no contract between Southside Fire and the county that guarantees all residents remain protected. Our Elizabeth Rawlins has been following the story and joins us now. Elizabeth, isn't the Chatham EMS and Southside Fire a nonprofit organization independent of the county, though?
Right, so they could technically have the upper hand when it comes to who they contract with, but firefighters we spoke to paint a very different picture, telling us Chatham County is in control and Southside Fire is afraid of rocking the boat. This former firefighter wanted to remain anonymous to protect his friends and former colleagues who still work for Southside.
I literally watched your story and if I wasn't angry about it, I would have laughed.
In our WTOC investigation that aired on September 5th, we told you that Chatham County received $5 million from the state last year, but didn't give Southside a dime. In fact, Southside has missed out on a portion of more than $40 million the county has received over the last 10 years from the state's premium tax. Per state law, the county can decide whether to put that money towards fire protection services, but Georgia law does say nonprofit fire departments are supposed to have a contract with the county in which they serve. Chatham County and Southside confirmed that no contract exists protecting residents in the unincorporated portion of the county. Technically, Southside could just pull their services. Tomorrow they could decide that they're not going to respond.
Yeah.
WTOC has no reason to believe that Southside Fire Services are in jeopardy, but the idea of no binding contract to protect residents, including State Representative Ron Stevens, is unsettling.
I'm stunned and of course just hearing about the issue, but the idea that that number one, we don't have a contract with a service that's being provided surprises me quite a bit, and number two, that we've got the potential to lose a provider for fire.
We told Stevens about our September 5th conversation with Chatham County Commission Chairman Al Scott.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a true contract.
Well, the contract for fire to, fire services for the unincorporated area.
When we enter into a subscription service for our facilities in the unincorporated area, that is in fact a contract with Southside. Thank you.
Al Scott says that they subscribed for county buildings. Does that count as a contract?
Boy, that's stretching it. I'm not sure. I probably won't go there.
County Commissioner Helen Stone also weighed in. Are you concerned about the possibility of there not being a contract or a legitimate contract between the county and Southside?
At this time, I haven't been told that there's not a legitimate contract, so I would have to look at it to see.
But again, there is no contract for fire services for all residents in the unincorporated portion of the county. Since Chatham County doesn't have their own fire department, Southside is the de facto. So they should have the upper hand when it comes to getting a contract and money from the county. And yet it's hard to understand why those with ties to Southside are so scared.
And people, that deal with the county are scared to death.
In our investigation, we found that Southside's attorney, who would be the one to draft a contract, is Jonathan Hart, who is also the county attorney. He did not want to talk to us on camera, but he tells us representing Southside is not a conflict of interest. However, when we asked him specifically about a contract between the two, he told us he would not be able to be involved, implying that could be a conflict of interest. Current Southside fire officials deny fearing the county. However, they would not sit down with us to do an interview unless the county manager was present. And that interview was canceled at the last minute because the county manager was sick. I'm told since our last story aired, the county has reached out to Southside about drafting a new contract that guarantees fire services for every resident in the unincorporated portion of the county. Because right now, the only binding connection between Southside Fire and the county is the county attorney.
The woman out on Old River Road whose house burnt down, she got a $15,000 bill. Well, it really wasn't a mistake. They're simply trying to recoup their cost. But if there was an agreement between Al Scott or the county commission and Southside that was a feasible, realistic look at how things work, that bill would have never shown up. They wouldn't have had to be billed, It would be covered by your taxes.
That story he's referring to is one that we covered last month. And the reason that we started asking all these questions and launched our investigation to begin with. According to Southside officials, they have not attempted to ask for any money from the county, nor have they asked about a contract. Of course, we'll continue to follow this and keep you updated.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. Savannah City Council will be mulling over the details of a proposed agreement with the local firefighters union for another 2 weeks at least. Council tabled the issue last week, wanting more time to consider what city staff and union reps with the local 574 talked about. And today they directed City Manager Rob Hernandez to bring them proposed changes to the existing policy that governs how the city conducts collective bargaining with firefighters. We asked the city manager if he thinks negotiating with one group of city employees is an efficient way to operate.
It is somewhat inefficient because it takes our staff away from their normal jobs and puts them at a negotiating table for a while. But once that's done and over with and you have a new agreement, it provides clarity and continuity. So again, whether we have one or not to me is immaterial.
Savannah City Council will be sending their questions about the agreement proposal to the city manager and city attorney before the next council workshop.
Well, today, Savannah City Council approved an agreement between the city and the Historic Savannah Foundation. Now, that involves the renovation of a home next to the new Savannah Police Central Precinct on West 34th Street between the Cairo-Brownsville and Metropolitan neighborhoods. Now, the two-story duplex was built back in the 1890s and is considered the most historically significant building on the site. Sean Evans joins us now live near City Hall to explain what this agreement means and how it will benefit the community.
Well, Dawn, it benefits the communities in a few ways. One, it keeps a historically significant building from being torn down. It also introduces a little community policing. Now, the Historic Savannah Foundation is contributing $50,000 to the estimated $250,000 project, while the city is covering the rest with SPLOST dollars. As the Central Precinct comes together through the partnership, so too will the neighboring Caretaker Cottage project. And once renovated, the duplex will serve as a housing unit for new police recruits, allowing them to become a part of the community and neighborhoods they'll be working in.
So again, offered to a new police recruit who's assigned to Central Precinct in exchange for certain caretaker duties like mowing the lawn, other basic upkeep out there. And in exchange for that, we'd give it to them for a reduced rent, somewhere around $400 a month.
The Central Precinct, by the way, is the first purpose-built precinct in Savannah in a century. Reporting live in downtown Savannah, Sean Evans, WTOC News.
Well, check this out. This is exclusive video of a construction worker about to jump out of an excavator on River Street this afternoon. The worker became trapped in the excavator after hitting a power line, causing it to fall on the heavy equipment. It happened at the hotel construction site near MLK. Now, Savannah Fire secured the scene, called Georgia Power, and stood by until power to the line was cut. No one was injured.
Well, Scriven County gets ready to add a new company and nearly 100 jobs. Bureau Chief Darrell Kennedy found out who's coming to town and why they're expanding in Sylvania.
Getting the grass mowed down will be just the first step of site preparation for a $12 million plant here in Sylvania, a plant from a company with a very familiar name.
A packaging plant for Claxton Poultry will instantly be the cornerstone of Scriven County's industrial park. Community leaders worked with the company for 4 months to sign the deal.
I think it's a huge deal. I mean, you know, we're a community of 15,000 people. 75 jobs makes a huge difference.
They'll start with a 35,000 square feet plant. Local leaders say they hope it grows from there.
We feel like this is hopefully a first stage, and this will be a building block on more things to come.
Bacon says they've been a good fit for medium-sized companies with roads to Augusta and Savannah and a workforce that brings employers here.
Well, they're expanding their footprint in many ways, so this isn't taking anything away from their facility in Claxton. It's just an expansion.
And of course, we'll keep you updated as the hiring process gets closer and closer. In Sylvania, Dow Kennedy, WTOC News.
Well, the Jamie Casino traffic tracker is on 80 right now, and everything's actually looking pretty good there. What I do want to show you is where we had an earlier car fire. This was on 301 southbound, but this is cleared up right now. Traffic improving greatly for folks over there over in Bullitt County, which is great news. Still watching this accident over on Sam's Point Road. This is in Beaufort County. Royal Pines Boulevard is where this one is, not causing major delays. But other than that, we're not seeing any reports of accidents right now. Low Country actually not looking so bad. 278. Everything moving smoothly for you guys. They're over in Chatham County. We're seeing traffic improve as well. No incidents that we've seen here today. 204 looking good, as well as 516, 16, and 95 looking great for you guys. Some drive times for you. Maybe you're about to head out. How about 516 to 95? That's close to the green, only 10 minutes.
Well, it looks as though the Savannah College of Art and Design is expanding and wants to build a new dorm that could house up to 700 students.
Yeah, the college is currently requesting rezoning of several properties along Victory Drive from Barnard to Montgomery Street.
Well, Meredith Parker joins us now live from that location where the new dorm could be built.
Well, Don, Mike, so what I can see from Victory Drive, just on the other side of Barnard, you can see there's already a SCAD dorm in place. It's called One West Victory, and that can give you a pretty good idea of what we could see on this entire block until Montgomery. That's what could come next.
They're proposing approximately 700 beds in the two dorm buildings. So, of course, my first thought is, that's people that could come to yoga.
Savannah College of Art and Design confirms they are expanding to meet demands of record enrollment. Owner of Revolution Yoga, Ashley Dodd, says she still has questions like, would construction noise impact her studio's classes?
I mean, I think that there's pros and cons to them. Of course, as someone that's right across the street, you worry about the impact on your business with traffic, with this already being a busy road.
SCAD currently owns almost 70 properties in Savannah, although it is not purposefully stated in the rezoning request. It is understood by the community that these buildings that currently reside there would be torn down, including a church.
I feel sorry for most, I'm sorry for the church, because these people have something to eat at least once a day. Where are they going when that church is down?
It's unclear if property owners have gotten or are getting any kind of financial compensation. The rezoning meeting is scheduled for October 9th at 1:30 in the afternoon, a time Nunes says everyone will be at work. It makes him feel that this preliminary plan is already a done deal.
And the city, I know that the city is going to go through this, no matter what we say, it's already done. This charade is a charade that we are going to listen to you. It's not true.
So I did reach out to SCAD today. They were unable to get back with me with a statement or an interview. However, Metro Planning Commission telling me SCAD is planning on hosting a community meeting next week on October 3rd. We're going to post those details on our website. For now, reporting live from Victory Drive, Meredith Parker, WTOC News.
Well, speaking of SCAD, a major announcement this afternoon. The college says the Outlander Season 4 show on Starz will premiere at the SCAD Savannah Film Festival on Sunday, October 28th. Following the screening, the Outlander cast and creators will take part in a panel discussion. There will also be an exhibit showcasing nearly 20 Outlander costumes from Season 4 at the SCAD Museum of Art.
Balloon releases usually have the best of intentions, but look at what happens when those balloons come down. The Georgia Southern University Department of Biology posted this picture on its Facebook page. The post with it says, while conducting her research on sea turtles on Ossabaw Island, graduate student Maddie Whitesell picked up 607 balloons on a 10.6 miles of the beach during a 119 days of field work. That's an average of about 5.1 balloons every single day she was there. Ossabaw, as you know, is a barrier island only 20 miles from Savannah. The university says that Whitesell's picture is a sad example of the tremendous problem of plastic pollution, particularly that single-use plastic. Now, the picture posted this week already has been shared more than 3,000 times.
We've got lots of sunshine out there and storms. It feels like summer outside. A great view from our riverfront, and our temperatures were 87 in Savannah, 86 on the south side. Rain cooled in Baxley, 77, 88 in Beaufort, 90 in Claxton. It feels like 100 in Beaufort. It feels like 97 in Savannah, even after the rain pushed through, and it feels like 97 in Claxton. So as we watch our Safe Touch Security First Alert live radar, clear for Chatham County now in the low country, but we're watching these storms in Liberty and Long County. Strong storms, not severe. However, they are pushing at a good clip to the north-northeast. So heads up if you're in the Dorchester area, Richmond Hill, 710. The Burroughs area of Chatham County, and then right around 8 o'clock, this has enough punch to actually make it to the city. It may make it to the islands. I know a lot of islands want the water, want the rain, but it's not a guarantee, as some of these storms have been losing their punch as they continue their northeastern trek. This cluster of showers and storms moving out of Baxley, still getting the lightning just north of the city along US 1, and it'll continue to move northeast. The Altamaha area, Reedsville around 649, Collins 7, Belleville, and then Claxton at 720. So hour by hour shows that we could still have these storms pulse in from the south. A lot of warm, moist air streaming in from the Gulf ahead of a stationary front that's well to the west of our area. And that could occur well into the evening past sunset. Now, this is the high resolution model, so we could have some storms up through Statesboro and Scriven County. And then I think for the most part, even though it still shows little action right around 10, 11 o'clock, I think most of us will be dry, and we'll start our Friday morning with sunshine and warm conditions. So our temperatures, even though it's pretty muggy and buggy and showery around, it'll still feel like 80 degrees at 11 o'clock, and then those rain chances really taper off. Our morning lows will feel more like afternoon highs for, let's say, the middle of October, or excuse me, middle of November. It's going to be warm and sticky, 74 in Jessup, 73 in Savannah, 74 in Hinesville, 74 Sylvania, 75 Beaufort, and 77 Hilton Head. So starting off dry, this is a different model. It's not the high resolution model. And even though we have a 40% chance of showers and storms tomorrow, most of us will be dry through the morning and the late afternoon. But with all that moisture around and it gets so hot and muggy out there, I think showers will start to pop from about 4 to 8, and then be aware that maybe your Friday night football will be affected for kickoff time at 7. 93 for the high in Jessup, 91 Rincon, 89 Statesboro, 89 Beaufort, 92 in Ridgeland. Will it still feel like the triple digits? Yes, in some places, and oh so close in others. So it will be another warm and sticky day, and we will keep that humidity around until at least Sunday. The temperatures drop because a cold front will actually try to pass the area, and our highs will be in the middle 80s. So that is good, and that will feel more like fall. Now we do have a a little bit of chance of that feeling like 100 across the coastal empire and low country for tomorrow. So muggy and sticky, and continuing with that. And we are sponsors of the Alzheimer's Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday. It's going to be warm and sticky in the morning, so dress appropriately, have a great time, and we're so proud to be sponsors of that and look forward to cooler temperatures next week.
Now, the WTOC Sports Desk, sponsored by Safe Touch.
The Georgia Southern Eagles are back at home Saturday night, opening Sun Belt play against the conference preseason favorite Arkansas State. The Eagles know this is as important a game as they'll play all year, and they want a home field advantage for it, even going to some non-traditional ways of firing up the fan base. Check this out. Yeah, that's the kind of energy Lunsford and the Eagles want to see magnified by about 25,000 people Saturday night in Statesboro. The Eagles head coach riling up the troops while visiting fraternities during the Eagles off weekend Saturday. It's not going to be easy to knock off the Sun Belt favorites Saturday night, but the blue and white like their chances if they play in front of a packed house.
I know when our crowd is rocking, that just gives us so much momentum, and it's just like we want to win, and when we got them on our side, it's just like we feel like we can't lose.
You know, on the record we have for like 85+ win percentage here in Paulson, so with that crowd and that energy, the players, we just feed on it and we just give them a show.
Georgia Southern kicks off the conference season Saturday night at 6 o'clock at Paulson Stadium.
Well, hurricane season may be winding down. Actually, we still have another 2 months to go, but Chatham County is not letting its guard down.
As part of the 2018 Chatham County Prepare-a-thon, the Chatham Emergency Management Agency, Chatham County Animal Services, and the Humane Society of Greater Savannah teamed up for Pet Emergency Preparedness Day. The event included low-cost microchips, rabies vaccines, and county registration. People who were there also entered into a raffle to win an emergency pet kit. And officials shared some tips that everyone needs to know who owns a pet.
The big things, you know, if in case of emergency like an evacuation, if your animals are on medications, you know, definitely need to make sure you have refills on all those medications. Paperwork like rabies certificates. If you are microchipped, need to know the right microchip number.
All dogs and cats 4 months of age and older are required to be vaccinated against rabies and should be registered with Chatham County, of course, if you live here.
All right. Want to thank everybody for joining us here online for this special The News at 6 newscast. We will have much more coming up at 7.
Good night.